Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Allegro Africa podcast. On this episode, ladies and gentlemen, I have a man with many talents. Ke legend, ke mongwe le ngore. Jolo ka team e ga nacho, e ga nna ba tabe gere career ya e eme kae kae. That's how long he took. But anyway, he's a radio presenter, to my knowledge. Yeah. Radio presenter, MC, rapper, producer. I just realized he's a videographer. And I also think it's right to separate videographer, photographer, drone flyer. I don't know, man. Drone pilot?
Yeah.
What you call these things?
And these are things that we're going to read.
Yeah. And we'll find all of this out from the man who was known as Chocolate Soul.
Yeah.
And now we have in the house Uncle Fifth.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, my brother. It's a pleasure to be here. I have to say.
You know, I'm actually happy that you're here.
I had FOMO. You know, I was like, how come I'm not on that podcast? It looks so cool. I saw people, I'm like, yeah, you know. And I also didn't want to be weird. And then I'm like, hey, man, put me on your podcast.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
It's an honor for me to have you here. I think back in the man, you've been here.
Yeah,
you've
like
been
for
here.
A while.
I don't know if I am going to be correct to say you started house music.
Actually, you would be incorrect because I think, you know, trying to make money out of this industry, the music industry professionally, I started when I was 16, 17, between 16 and 18. Damn. Because I had a friend in high school, Skibbs D. And a guy called Pasco Dollar.
Pasco Dollar.
Yeah, and I started making beats with a guy called Danone. He actually became a bit famous, Danone. Like, he produced Good Time of Your Life. Yeah, Joop Joop. Yeah.
Really?
Have a good time of your life.
He's in the country?
No, he lives in Johannesburg.
He can't be in the country with that type of skill.
No. In fact, he quit music. I think he's pursuing a doctorate if he's not. I know he had a master's degree, I think. But he gave me software when I was 16. Shout out Danone, wherever you are, man. Yeah, he gave me software and he helped me become who I am in the sense that I love what I do, you know? And having given me the gift to be able to do it from my bedroom as technology has been advancing. So I started with hip hop. Actually, but not professionally. Since I was 10. And then when I met Skibza, the CD, trying to commercialize what we were doing. But we were recording from our bedrooms from between 16 and 18. Yeah, and that's a while because if people who only knew me as Uncle Fifth now, they don't know that I'm actually a very old man. You know?
I mean, you didn't put uncle for no reason.
No, I had to because it also had to make sense, you know? Like, even when I switched my style of music, I was like, I can't talk about people twerking and booty hopping
anymore.
Yeah, you know, but funny enough, my daughter was like, but your music is still about questionable things you wouldn't want your daughter to be doing. And I'm like, but at least I say it like an uncle, you know, like somebody's cool uncle. It doesn't sound like I have this dark energy that sometimes hip hop gives out, you know, where I have to be like
I see what you mean,
the head dude in charge, you know. No, my
then
music.
why and how did you do that house era that you did?
Oh, all right. So in 2008, yeah, no, definitely. In fact, I started doing house in 2005. But then in 2008, a friend of mine was like, hey, man, I have an idea. I think we can do this in the Free State and have like a Free State market. Yeah, Chocolate Soul with this house stuff you're doing. And I'm like, for real? Okay, cool. All right, I don't mind. Let's do it. And then we branded his car.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Wait, who's that? I remember you had
he was the coolest manager in the world. You know? He allowed me to
branded yourself. Wait, 16. Let me say, how to know Skibza? Are you still Chocolate Soul? Are you still Chocolate Soul?
between, because I was 21, 20, when I became Chocolate Soul.
Okay.
I was 21 years old and I thought it sounded nice. I was like, Chocolate Soul. In fact, I heard it there was a producer called Uzi. He didn't remember this when I told him. I'm like, you made a beat when we were kids.
Yeah.
And you called it Chocolate Soul. And then I always thought, I like the feel. I like what you're trying to describe because, like I'm very proud of being a Black person and we have like chocolate brown skin.
Yeah.
And I thought of myself as a relatively sweet person. Some people might disagree or some people might say I'm narcissistic for thinking that. But I thought I was sweet. As I said, Chocolate Soul. And I thought, okay, it's a house it can. When I did hip hop, it sounded a bit weird that I was calling myself Chocolate Soul. I was like, considering the hip hop I was doing, because I went back to hip hop. I started with hip hop, went to house between 20 and 23, went back to hip hop at 24.
Did you know
it's a house, house.
By the way, I was joking, the career it was you watched T-Max episode, right?
But this is German nuggets habisi. Nuggets habisi.
Those words are horror.
Nugget mind.
What Gemma King
like,
in your
where
case.
You're stuck or where you're not really going anywhere. You haven't really, because I don't know why people, it's an artist thing. Artists believe I created it, it's my art, and they have an ego about it. And if people don't like it, so there was a time where I wasn't really doing what people liked. I remember when I came back to hip hop as Chocolate Soul, and I was influenced by a guy called Commander Obbs and what he was creating, but I thought I could put my own flavor on it, and I made an album in 2000, and I started working on it in 2011 and it dropped in 2012. And I was sort of trying not to emulate his style, but to be but being connected with my people. And it was fun. People liked it. And then when T-Mac dropped Basadi, when Jacob dropped Kiting and Kajema. I'm not afraid to say it, like I find people so weird to not want to admit
because how Waga T-Mac is
he was there.
Those guys with the crew MIP.
Yeah.
They did take the game, changed it.
Yeah. And took away our attention. I don't want to mention other people's names because people have egos in this industry, ne?
Now go ahead. I got you protected.
I'm good.
Just flow.
Don't even need to. I'm good. But T-Mac, MIP, Jacob, Kiting, GGF, I have to.
Yeah.
They took all that attention. And Generation Yabon was the generation that didn't care what we were doing in our generation. The party in Zabon hip hop. And people were always like, how come trap? And I was like, trap is connected so many people in music because hip hop became interesting to people who didn't care about hip hop and they thought it was too much. And the hip hop we were doing Yasosoto just before Basadi dropped, it wasn't as commercially appealing as what they were doing. So I tried to fit in, which I wish I didn't do because right now I like what I'm doing.
At the time.
Yeah, I felt so out of place. FOMO also on the Allegro podcast is nothing compared to the FOMO I felt of seeing my nephew. But T-Mac is my nephew, ne?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like I call his mom Austipales. You know? So he's like in terms of generations, he's my nephew. You understand? But my cousin too. Like we're very close.
Yeah. That close. I get you.
I felt out of place when those guys were getting their shine. I'm not gonna lie. When they were getting their shine, and then it just kept on happening. First it was him, then Megahertz. He's now under this done dropped. These people are getting all this attention, and I'm not. You know?
I feel what you're going through, man.
And that dude, I don't know what, and it affects your mental health. I don't know what's his name. GGF and Juvenile. No, and Juviwale Pimpa.
At the
they
time.
dropped Skipper Sintek, and I'm like, Nante Kepa industry. You know? And then I sort of went and did other things. Said, look where he gets a challenge. At least take a look I lived in Bryanston. I left Maseru. I went to Johannesburg. I was like, at least I'm making money. I still want to make music, you know.
Bro, I get what you're going through because we sometimes get that, and I've realized that in the DJing part. I'm not even saying in production, or DJing part where now all of a sudden there's a genre that you don't really want to fit into, but now it's happening. And so if and then now our old time DJs in one, they are going through that thing. I know it. Nah, but they are going through it.
You know, Lebon. Look, you wear something as an older guy. I'm not afraid to tell y'all. I'm turning 38 in how many days? In about 23 days. He said Tucson in 23 days.
Happy birthday in advance is too far.
It's basically the end of the month. So I'll be turning 38, right?
Sure.
And I've been in this industry a while, and I know ego plays a huge part in this. I've been part of so many collaborative efforts that we have done in the country where I feel they were destroyed by ego, but I'm not afraid to say, I don't know, the DJ Lesotho United. I'm not gonna lie. On the outside, it looks really nice to watch. Lim is an honest DJ. She was telling us how much she earns. I get paid 500. And how many lineups she appears on. Le nna nka binela di 500 ha ba di tla kena ha 5 kapa ha 7 kapa ha 8 ka kgwedi. The way Lim, and she was so honest, you know, and I was like, she doesn't care. She's like, look, we don't always make the most money, and I always say, but Lorona, as people, let's use logic. If you're creating an event, right, and maximum 500 people, and you look at how much the person's charging at the door. Are you telling me he paid everybody on that lineup, or he paid them 5,000, 10,000? I don't think so. But ego aside, what the DJs Lesotho are doing is very beautiful to watch, because I see a sense of unity, even though sometimes on Facebook, you know.
Bro, I don't. I'm curious on what you see.
But that's what I see. Like I said, I get DJ Lena.
Sure.
Ke bona event the DJ di bo matene. And I'm like, hey, but one of us more. And ke like a hirisa sound there at one point in my life. I still want to get back to it. But I still have sound system. Yeah. But ke like these guys work together. They work together. Like, they'll be like, no, I want like a 5 each at the event take off. How to sign the event into each other. And then when now event and I thought it looked really cool. But while I was in that game, sub you know, and it was, I thought, but
what you're describing is circles.
Yeah. But it's not even it's not every DJ.
Because now I'm not in any circle.
But you know,
whose
funny
circle am I in?
Man, but you do some cool stuff. You know, sometimes you don't need circles. Morana Lagaba showed me we don't need circles, because there was a time he and I were part of a circle. I'm not going to mention which. But when he left the circle, he started... He's like, I've seen you, man, travel, Allegro, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, I'd love to travel, you know, and, you know, I look at...
was I part of the mental health problem now?
No, you didn't. I neseke fodile at that time. Like, neseke sa, kisena bitanya na bonu ba like I'm getting old, you know? And
bro, it's so real.
They must,
especially from a creative point. Why all the creator? Because at the end of the day, you're creating stuff because you want people to receive.
Yeah.
And it's a wave.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I say it's like, so why am I here? And I want to ask you something about that. Are you aware that's what hit WHP?
I'm aware. Chariki is a different thing. Because I've been, funny enough, you know what revived me? I know people are gonna laugh, but TikTok. you know, because I spoke about my mental health on TikTok.
I see,
My
bro.
comeback to the music industry was because of TikTok, right? So I opened up about mental health and I found so many other people in the world.
Sure.
Like I even took a screen grab of like my analytics, you know, and in fact I know them off by heart. I think I have 65% following Yabomme and then the remainder's men. But it used to be 80% women, 20% men. Because women connect I connected with women because I spoke about my mental health, the issues I have of like ADHD. I've had ADHD since I was born, and it has its issues like learning disability. It's like a learning disability because I can't focus, you know, and people find it weird because when they're like, what do you mean you can't focus, dog? You're normal. You're like, you seem a bit more clued up than the average guy.
Sure.
Yeah, ADHD can play with you.
I can relate, man.
Excuse me.
I can relate.
Yeah. And because of that, I made videos, TikTok videos, and that's what revived my music career because I made a song, I put it on TikTok, went viral, and people are like, hey man, this is unique, this is dope, it reminds us of Double HP, and I was like, interesting they compare me to this guy because I've been through the most, you know?
Sure.
I'm surprised I didn't do what he did,
bro,
you know?
I'm so glad.
And I'm glad I did it, you know?
When I heard though, because he attempted it the first time, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes on radio.
A few times.
Is it?
Yeah, but then but he attempted it about 4 or 5 times before he succeeded. You know,
there was a show on like DJ Fresh, and then he explains, now what was it about, and I'm like, exactly what we're talking about right now, where the industry changes and then it leaves you behind.
That's true, and unfortunately, where ego is involved. This genre of hip hop is an ego-based genre, right? Where ego is involved. You don't even want to change, you know? There's that whole thing, rappers don't dance, man. We don't dance. And then Casper was dancing and we are black people. When a person is dancing and there's a nice rhythm, whether you're a rapper and you're all hard, you know, and it's so weird because that whole hard persona thing, rap, right? If you look back to where it comes from, it's related to gang violence. Man, I wasn't raised like that. I don't have to have that ego. I don't have to be hyper masculine, be a hyper masculinated man. Like, I don't know if I said that correctly, but I don't want to be hyper masculine because it's not good for me. People buy now why rate suicide day because they don't want to cry. I cry. I don't care now about I'm gay, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, if that's how you were born. That I don't care what people call me. They will. But I won't let because I know how easy it is to plan to kill yourself.
Sure.
You know, I've been there. I've been
also the fear that you go through when you realize that you're actually thinking about that.
Yeah, or sometimes the relief. I'm not gonna lie. It's the relief. It's like thinking, I don't have to deal with planet Earth after this.
Yeah.
Even when it's draining. I have to live up to expectations. I have to wash Aksabat. I have to go to work. Why was I brought you? We put us such weird questions. And then when you think of you having done it already, the fear is the early part. You should worry when you think, that would be so peaceful. So it'd be dark.
You worry when you feel that, and it makes perfect sense right now.
Yeah. When you're still experiencing what fear of doing it, you're still in the early stages, and sometimes you're not gonna do it. You know?
Bro, I don't know if you know that I was employed and then I resigned at some point in my life.
I'm glad you're telling me this, man. I didn't know. Sure, because then now I know I'm not alone because I've been fired, resigned, but sorry.
Sure.
You know?
So, life is hard, obviously. Because I resigned to start my own stuff. And then now when anything you start has to start from below the bottom.
Yeah.
So I was below the bottom. And then it was really tough. What's that when you're passionate of something, you're like, shit. So one time I'm in my house, no work, nobody's calling, nobody's even checking up on me.
If you're okay. I know,
Why would they check up on me? Because Baby Zibaspani. You understand?
Good point.
By the way, skipasa mfanaka.
This is actually nice.
Baba Ganoush. This is actually they call it the barcode design.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so it has like
Man,
different
this
designs,
has like
right?
multiple. You can do a lot with a barcode.
Exactly.
In fashion, you know,
and
like
this is one of the things these guys did. So I'm gonna post this thing on the description.
Man,
Check.
I'd like one too, actually.
How connect?
Yeah, I'd like one too. I like it. Say it again.
Baba. I've lost my confidence, but it's Baba Ganoush.
But I like, why did you lose your confidence? It's Baba Ganoush. Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, it says it. Baba Ganoush.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
You, man.
It's actually even a nice brand name. And then they play around with they actually have designs. This guy's got bags, caps.
This is how I feel. Because, this is nice. Right? You know, I value designers who care about the thickness of the fabric, the quality, how long it's going to live,
sure.
And you know, you have to think of those kind of things.
You have to,
because
now I'm feeling comfortable in this one.
It looks really good.
I can breathe. Okay, everyone can talk.
Yeah,
but y'all know. So so I'm like, why would they call? Because actually, I even got my car repossessed because now I couldn't pay for it anymore. So, bro, I loved my car, man.
I'm so sorry, man. Allegro. Hey,
my
I wish I knew you then, you know?
So happy you gonna be born. This guy, yeah. This is my car. If it as it, I look today, I can still see it.
You know?
I know
the feeling.
So yeah, I'm going through those type of things, man. I thought of that thing. I've thought about suicide once.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it, I got so scared. What?
Yeah.
Am I thinking about this thing? I dashed out of the house. I was like, a nigga gotta take a walk right now.
Yeah.
I just went out. So I want to ask you, how would you advise people when they go through that? I don't even want to talk about people. Let me talk about artists. Let me talk about artists.
How say? How to? What la bona ne ke shebile podcast ya dino gana ka mo interview Maluti Plumbing. Ebe Maluti Plumbing nzaka lena la thasa le tsamantse le thasa mona le tsebena le thasa
ke feletse mo
le di brush.
Yeah, she did say that. She did say that.
Go with how shapa when you're getting comfortable with that feeling. I'm ready to exit. You're shapa say, I'll get out. You know, you're like, why am I up? Why am I waking up? You know? So now this is my advice. How high about support because letting sometimes mutu what like depression so asking him to get out of their house to take a walk because they don't have that energy. You know, but I'm very grateful. I was blessed in that my parents have always been there for me, you know? So in as much as they were not really well off in terms of finances, but they made a home that I could always come back to that was fully paid and a way to keep groceries in the refrigerator, you know? So they were like, how let Hatanyana come home, you know? And then, so I had the privilege of saying, I could drag a shampoo again too. Get a gate, get a walk, at least get make some toast, maybe butter it. Sure, I had that privilege. Under that privilege. So I can't advise people to do what I do. I wake up in the morning and I take a walk. And I got a Fitbit. So I'll look at my steps. I did 12,000 steps today. So I'll look at my Fitbit and I'll be like, yeah, you know, so we were walking. So I would like look at my steps and I'd be like, no, there's a gentleman I used to hi. Let me take a walk and go have a chat and laugh. He's an older guy, but with a character like mine.
Change environment, change thoughts, change conversations, man.
You know, happy. Don't live in your depression. You must understand, you must create alternative personalities if you're stuck on that negative one. Create a one, yo, come on. It's okay. Haiba, you need to tell yourself the way I would say, Allegro, it's okay, man. You had to quit your job. You had to pursue a passion. I've created a voice and another personality. So there's like multiple personalities in me. So you're depressed when it surfaces, and it's many things feed into it, Allegro. I used to be a substance abuser. I'm not afraid to say that as well. And withdrawal symptoms, it can also make you want to commit suicide. So you have to be aware of what's going on. And you must also face reality. Depression, where we out ourselves is not facing reality. We don't face reality. This 1, 2, 3, it's either your marriage, your job, something is making you depressed, your inability to do what you love, something is making you depressed. Yeah, the fact that I could not become the musician I wanted at 23 years old when Takataka across the ocean with Drake were doing it, when younger people than me were blowing up, accept that's what made you depressed or contributed to it. And everything, because depression goes all the way back from when you're young. Childhood is trauma. Being a child is traumatic. I don't care what anybody says. Being a child is trauma. No, but you remember some of the things. Childhood, inherently living in a capitalistic society, is trauma. So you must go back there. This is where this started. Sometimes, like, I don't know, I don't want to offend anyone, but I kind of feel what Melili and Dube said. Like sometimes we're just depressed and we need to deal with our depression. Sometimes, I'm not tapping into spiritual stuff, but then, that's what I did for myself, and I'm grateful for. No, I accepted my situation. Because Linda even thought maybe you want more. Yeah, why are you saying I could and then I'm like, okay, withdrawal symptoms, it's out substances. Abuser substances. And I don't know. I feel like it's many people don't want to face that.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to accept it.
People don't want to accept that you're saying what the core problem is.
Yeah, and some they're junkies. So I'm like, no. Part of the problem is because I couldn't get to where I want, and this industry being what it is, I delved into substances, and I'm glad when I went through that intense depression when I left them, and then it hits me. It's like, no, man, it's withdrawal symptoms. You just want to get high.
That's all that's happening.
Your body just wants to get high.
That's all that's happening.
And then I was like, okay, what do I do about it? Wake up in the morning, take a jog, play some music. Then I got back into making music. Hence why I ended up making a song called S'momo. Blew up. Like, well,
let's go there. Let's go there.
Like,
Babes Wodumo.
Yeah, that's also a dope jam, I didn't think I could, and I'm a fan of Babes
Wodumo. Come on, so unfair, this music thing.
And it's funny.
Babes Wodumo.
I think it's actually a dope track, but people prefer S'momo over it. In fact, what I do is, I perform S'momo last, Babes Wodumo in the middle, and whatever current single is out at the time first when I'm performing. So, because people love S'momo, like
yeah. You give the people what they want.
Definitely. So close with it,
bro. I'm listening to your music and I'm thinking, Mona huintswe polane mo. Mona huitswe. Ha go kopanye ena. I can hear it. And I don't know if other people can hear it, but I'm hearing it just because I'm a producer as well. But your production is a decision.
Can I tell you something?
Also, who's making the beats?
I am. My king. I'm not gonna lie.
That production is amazing.
So I was like, chord progression is a dreamy. I made a dreamy chord progression. I Googled how to make euphoric chord progressions.
I see.
And then I was like, oh, these keys go together. They make this emotional feeling. And then I was like, hi, I want to be able to rap to this, but I'm a better rapper than a singer. So I need to keep it more flow orientated. And then I was like, okay, let me try that out. Because I was now doing music for Uncle Fifth. I was like, I see
what you mean.
And I called Yana T-Mac, my nephew. I'm like, hey man, I got a song. You still got that lens there, how it's on the background blurred. I was so disconnected from the industry. I forgot that effect is called depth of field. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey, Nef, they got lost during my times of extreme abuse of substance, So I was like, I say about the camera, I lost but as I got better, I was like, hey, Mac, man, you still got lenses and stuff. Some background blurry. I have a song. I want to create some content for it. I'm not saying it will blow up, but
let's just do something.
Yeah, and then go out the camera vertically because I'm doing it specifically for TikTok. Awesome, I hope it blows up. Like I made it because I made a video on TikTok where I was like, "Hi, my name is Uncle Fifth, and I'm on antidepressants and sleeping pills. And if you need anyone to talk to, I'm here." And it blew up, And I became famous in Kenya, in South Africa. I think my following was 80% South Africa, 10% Kenya, and then other percentages shared between Lesotho. And Lesotho was 0 point something. Nobody was following. Some Americans liked my content. In fact, when I made my first video, people were surprised to it's about Lesotho. They were like, because my content was mental health, and when I dropped S'momo, the same effect happened. I wish, Gore, you need part 2 of this because there's a lot, Because I wish I could go into detail for every single experience because, man, Allegro, I've slept on the streets. I was found on the streets. I went public. When I first went viral, I went public. Even Drum Magazine covered me on Twitter, where I'm like, there was a person, and I'm like, this is my story exactly. Alive, and here I am, I'm alive. And it blew up. People in Nigeria were like, just shout. People had arguments. The reach thing was over 31 million. Damn. The people were having conversations. There was a lady who was like, why are you guys hating on his biological mother? And then he doesn't have issues with her. And then the men are like, it's these women. They don't understand what's going on. And I was like, it was a war and I wasn't a part of it, but it's in my comment section. And I'm like, these guys are arguing about me. Every day, my notifications were going wild on Twitter. Every single day.
Twitter or TikTok?
Twitter. It started on Twitter. Like I first went viral on Twitter. Adoption. I was found on the streets and I was adopted. Another time I went viral on Facebook because I spoke about how I decided to go live on the streets in Johannesburg. That's why you need a part 2. But anyway, when I dropped S'momo, right? The first thing I get Malume Vector, right?
Sure.
He hits me up and he's famous. He doesn't just hit me up.
Come on.
Come on. In fact, I'm lucky that Vector has my number.
And I have
one of these statuses high, and I was like, on WhatsApp, one of these statuses is personal. It's a Malume Vector. He hit me up. He's like, King, you see that what you did with S'momo? That right there is a hit. That is you. I wonder how guys are that, if you can repeat that.
Sure.
And I was like, actually, I was doing me for the first time in my life. I wasn't trying to fit in. Like I said, Commander Obbs influenced my Dreamlights era, my 2012 to 2013. That was my Dreamlights era. It was heavily influenced by Tshepi and trying to be as relevant as I can in that arena, So...
Because they were making waves. They were also in ownership of the industry at that time.
Exactly. So I was always trying to be somebody else until I got to S'momo. The beats were me. I even produced them. I produced them, I recorded it, I mixed it, I mastered it. And I didn't even do a great job because I didn't have monitors when it came out. In fact, I still don't have monitors. I still go to T-Mac's house, and I feel like rich enough to have like this big studio. T-Mac and go work from there. It feels
it has a vibe.
Yeah, sometimes I'll go to Matt Edie's house, and I'll be like working, and I could just get monitors. I just do it at home, but there's kind of a spirit behind it, and I'm kind of like, no, this is how I work,
What can you say about the way T-Mac is up for assisting artists, like effortlessly?
Like this is like a place for truth.
We actually under oath.
I think he overdoes it. I think he for the longest time he gave himself to people and not enough to himself. But I feel like that's changing, because he has expanded what he does, and now he's about himself as well and helping people, but he doesn't give too much of himself. Maybe he's drained at the end of the day because he gave so much of himself to this industry. And I always thought, man, just toss these people to the curb and just do you. Let's just focus on you, but he's always been about helping people, and it was selfish of me to even suggest he shouldn't, but I wouldn't help everyone, because I also feel like music is a very personal thing. Not everyone is into what I'm into. Not everyone understands. There's people who give me beats and I think there's a nice beat, but I don't really see or hear Uncle Fifth on it. I know I could be giving up on a great beat, and I took a chance recently. Some guys from Johannesburg, who are famous in like these cassis in Johannesburg, right? Okay, I see. I mean, the song has Fortunator on it. Fortunator was on Movia Makazi with Ndadestana and DJ Gundo. So this song has Fortunator on it. I'm like, these guys are serious. And he hunted for Uncle Fifth, the lead singer of Wayne and Tango. He's like, he went to my email, he went to my inbox, he was commenting. And when he commented, funny enough, guess where I responded? In the comments. Not because, hi. First of all, I deleted Messenger. Let's get on Google. He said this is dropping in 2 days. Guys, I get a Messenger. However, you're sending me messages on Meta Messenger. I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Why is that?
It's depressing.
Okay.
Oh, because it's too easy for people. Sometimes I need to be about me, but that inbox, I'll get like 100 requests. It's easy access. Everybody just goes. So I deleted it. I'm like, you know what? Amen. But I'm not saying, but in my comments, I will respond to you. Nice. I give people my email in my comments and say, send me your work. Especially when a video goes viral. Because I think I have a video that has close to 200,000 views. Yeah, my music, right? I have mental health at close to 600,000 views on TikTok. One is the other one. Music is on Facebook. But I just get times where some of my videos goes really viral. So you'll get like 300 comments. I will answer every single one. Okay. So he found me in the comments. Wayne from Wayne and Tango. Sure. And then I did a verse and people loved it. I remember, I don't know what to call her, but she's a good friend of mine. She does nails and she likes what she likes. She's not going to pretend like she likes when she saw that video with the name of the song is Kokororo, right? And then she's like, I love this one. And I'm like, so you didn't love the other two between S'momo and now, And that's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, you didn't love them. But, and then...
So we jaja, a positive comment
exactly,
today.
I love this one. And I was like, maybe I found Uncle Fifth. Because people are like, this is unique, Sesotho fashioning. I'm not going to lie. Honache, Stunner's my influence in doing me. Because he's just taught me, I just saw him do him for the longest time. I decided to do me, And when I hopped on Skokororo is because I thought Stunner took a chance and he hopped on Pino Zekarembo. Stimela. I'm like, I'm taking a chance, fam. I'm taking it.
I'm like, Stunner, he's collaborating with people. Babuansi Zolo, Venda. and everything. But
That's his soul.
I mean,
You know, and he sounds like him. He's not trying to sound like anyone else. And this is the first time I sound like Uncle Fifth.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, hey,
what do you want to call your genre? Let's give it a name.
I don't know. You give it a name, Allegro, because I don't know. I feel like giving it a name. It's so ego driven if I do that because my piano.
It's not really my piano.
My piano came from the fact that initially there was a lot of back in 2006.
Then the log drum came
in. Then you know what I mean.
And then they changed the game.
And they still kept calling it Amapiano.
Yeah.
You know, nobody sat down and said, let's call
that genre S'momo.
There you go. You know?
Let's name it after the hit.
Thank you. Like, I think that's
whoever is producing
cool.
S'momo out there, come on.
Send me beats if you're producing S'momo.
Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
Uncle Fef is here.
That's nice, actually. That's so natural because then people are thinking, but why would you call it that? But then why would you call music Amapiano?
Hey, fellows, not piano. S'momo, after you heard it first here.
Exactly. That's the name of the genre. You know, yeah.
No, I like the genre, man. Where do you want to take it now from here?
Okay, I don't want to do too much of the same thing, Wawan, but I've been listening to other genres. There's a brand called Hoha. It makes clothes, right?
Okay.
Monga Hoha was like, when you've got a wave, or when you've got a bit of a vibe or a buzz, or when there's eyes on you, teach people stuff, teach people other stuff. I don't only listen to the genres that make up S'momo. You know what I mean? I listen to EDM. I listen to Afro pop. I listen to everything, you know?
I felt the EDM in the production.
You know? Yes, and I was like, no, Ninning fella, unke a song able 80s EDM, you know? Slow it down a bit, not too much, and then rap over it. And now what you would create, don't be too loud, don't be too aggressive, you know? And I was like...
You feel this analysis?
Yeah.
You are the only one I can remember who's able to do that. Like, decide, sorry. This is what happens. Now, this is a vision of what I think happens before you produce a beat.
Yeah.
You are, okay... Hey, o ka stopong o no ile ha mokotso vibe o no reka
veggies.
Veggies. You know, come on, you don't even have the beat in your head. You are just like, okay, you know, genre thingy EDM. E kopana around the trap. E kopana le famo.
How can I do that?
No, you don't even have the rhythm, you don't have the tempo, you don't have the key, you don't have everything. And then you go into the house. And then you're like, okay, Koreana, EDM, synth, and then what else did I say? Trap, now what's the main thing? A trap instrument. Then you just put them together.
You just gave me an idea. Like a short film.
Sure.
Where I'm walking in Kawanaka.
Sure.
And then some man is playing Koreana. And then it keeps playing in my head.
Yeah.
And then some kid is on a skateboard. It's a trap on these speakers. Bluetooth.
Sure.
You know, and then takes you away after. Amapiano. You understand? And then inside, like a DJ slows down tempos. All these tempos are changing and being altered in my head.
Yeah.
But you visualize it by me. How Korean be prominent at that part. I get a vision of that guy.
Sure.
The kid on the skateboard,
black and white
the trap
thing,
exactly.
on the screen.
You know. I think that would look visually cool. You know.
And then we're gonna produce the beat.
Exactly. You know, and
we're making
I love
magic.
That. Yeah, and we should keep it up.
Yeah,
I'd love to work with people from I'd love to work with a classical musician one day. You wonder what Kabza the Small did with that famous lady who are the orchestra. She conducts orchestras.
Sure.
And I feel so bad because I'm ADHD. I don't remember her name. But
I can't memorize it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what you can do because I'm saying you are able to put genres together and make something.
That's true.
That's the theme of your music.
That's true, you know, and I didn't think it would work, and it worked this time. Like when people heard S'momo, Like they didn't understand that's why they automatically said, you remind us of Double HP. We've been missing that in the industry. And when I listened to myself, I was like, I wasn't trying to sound like Double HP. And I know there's trolls in this world. You understand? People with the poop emoji for brains, right? So what they are going to do is going to make it seem like I am trying to be like Double HP. Then guess what I did? I'm like, I'm going to use that. And that's what I did. I grabbed, like, I was like, if you like Double HP, then you might like this. And people are like, oh, you remind us of Jabba. But listen to me, I don't really sound like Jabba.
I see. Tell me this. Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
it's a part-time thing
with it?
for me.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
It's a more of a passion thing, but I have a feeling once I go into what you're doing, you know, one day I'll be your co-host. You never know.
Oh, we interview these people for days.
So,
yeah, man. Thank you so much, man, for coming through. Yeah, there definitely is going to be a part 2, and like T-Max said, there's also going to be a part 3. Yeah. So
I'm glad I hinted a few of the stuff that I'd like us to talk about, because I'm sure there's somebody who's like, I want to hear that living on the street story, or I want that adoption story. Episode 2.
You have a lot, man, and honestly, your presence is doing a lot to the industry.
Thank you so much.
As you can see, the industry is weird now.
Yeah,
it's weird. I'm not saying it's down, but it's weird. So we need everyone in every corner to bring something into the industry, so that we can have something to look at, believe in, inspire those who are inspired. Like we said, but now someone is like, okay,
I want to do S'momo now.
I want to do S'momo, you know, I want to sing S'momo, I want to rap S'momo. We can start a couple of movements. So bro, do it. I'm so glad, man.
Thank you so
much. I'm so glad you did S'momo.
I'm so glad you brought me here, man. I was nicely, I felt left out. I was like, I also want to be on Allegro's podcast.
Oh, man, I feel so honored.
No, but it's true. Dude, when your manager approached me, I was like, like, me? You think I should be there?
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Uncle Fef, this is a new journey for you, man. Changing your name also, man. I'm really happy for that.
We must talk about it on the next one we do.
In the next one.
I'm coming back.
Coming soon right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Uncle Fef, aka was known as Chocolate Soul.
Previously known as Chocolate Soul.
Also is known as Refile Twatlan. Yes, that's you on Facebook. Refile Twatlan, but you also have a page, right?
No, I'm not. I'm literally using my personal account.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's going
viral. Check him out.
The videos go viral. Refile Fif Twatlan. Uncle Fif on TikTok and Instagram. Galagoba.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's already done.
You know?
Coming from me, DJ Allegro. Peace.